How are you treating this bonus week that you guys have here?
So I called it a hybrid practices. We've got elements of what next week will look like, but we've also got elements of camp. Yesterday we were in full pads, had some competitive periods. Today we went uppers, but we worked against each other, but got some good Vanderbilt, look teamwork. The one adjustment we made starting yesterday, when we go good on good, it's been one offense, two defense, or one defense, two offense. I'm not saying it'll always be like that, but for this week and occasionally we do that.
Yeah, this O-line arrangement we've seen lately with Lath at left guard, Braylon center, Caden at right guard. Do you like that pairing? Is it trending that direction for how you might try them out there in the open?
Yeah, I don't know if I can say it's trending that way. I'm really glad we're looking at it, and Lath deserved an opportunity to work with that group. To me, we know a lot about what Bob Schick can do. He's played a lot of snaps, and we know a little less about Lath right now. He just hasn't been out there as much. So it's been good. That lineup's been good. It's created a possibility for it. That could be how we start the year. And we'll make some decisions here the next couple of days.
Have you determined a backup quarterback yet?
We have, yeah. It's Colin Schlee.
Yes,
sir.
What went into that consideration?
Just performance-based, and not that we're disappointed in Pop. He's done some good things. He's improved. He had a minor injury setback, but Colin's been very impressive, particularly not being with us as much this summer, and he's a good student of the game, and he's got a nice arm, and can certainly he's athletic. He can run our offense. So I think again it's not necessarily a knock on Pop as much as it is a compliment to Colin.
You mentioned Lath deserved an opportunity to get a run with those guys. What stood out to you? What's impressed you most about the way he's gone about his business?
Yeah, Lath is very athletic and good pad level, can recover. He's a good athlete. He was kind of raw when he got here, but he's made tremendous strides. He's put on the right kind of weight. Seems to learn pretty good. He's still young in some ways. I think when you look at what the experience and the age and maturity that Bob has, and when you look at and make those decisions, it's all of it. All the information goes into what you feel like you'll get when you put him out there.
How much has that new combination on the O-line meant to get Braylon more snaps at center as the number 2 behind Caden?
Yeah, that was a real positive of the whole thing. Like, let's do this. We're doing it over here to get a look at Lath, but just as important to get Braylon the snaps, which he needed. Because to be honest, the first mini camp we did it, he struggled a little bit, and he's snapping the ball much better now.
We've seen Gallo working off on the side for a couple of practices. Is he going to be ready for the opener, you think?
I don't know. I think he still could be. He's not 100% right now. Hopefully he can get there. He hasn't gotten a ton of work this camp, so he's obviously behind to a degree. But I'd say we're 50-50, if he's out there playing for us against Vanderbilt.
You seem very comfortable with your 1-2 punch at running back with Bayshell and Malachi. Who's working in that number 3 spot? Is that still playing itself out?
Yeah, I think it's a mixture. I really do. I think, Coney's done a really good job, and so has P.J. Prelude. But they're completely different. Coney's more of a north-south physical guy. P.J. is a guy that can make you miss. He's got great agility. He can line up at slot. He can line up in the backfield. So two different guys that I think both, can have a role for us.
PJ, was he on the roster already when you got here? Did he come in?
Yeah, he was. I can't remember what he was playing. You know what? He was a freshman my first year.
Okay.
He was a freshman.
Did he play a little defensive back in there too?
I think he was a DB at first. Okay. Yeah. He's awesome.
We obviously know
Great
a lot
kid.
about Dorian Mansour at corner. What's impressed you most about Dante and Thomas Williams and the other guys behind him?
Yeah, those guys, Dante's had a good camp. The most improved, maybe one of the most improved on the team is Thomas Williams. A guy that, because of an injury issue, he missed all of last fall and got some work in the spring. And to be honest, he hasn't played a lot of DB in his career. And he was getting beat quite often in the spring. And he would just bounce up, sprint it back, line up, play the next snap. He's one of our best workers. He's been very coachable. He doesn't say a word. He's more of out there to the field. That's kind of, at least at this point in his career, his skill set aligns there. And Dante's aligns more so in the boundary.
How's Braylon Johnson fitting
He's
that
doing
mix?
good. He's learned both. He's coming along at safety. Part of me thinks that's his future. But he's a great student of the game. He's got to continue to get bigger and stronger, and he's working that way. Another young guy in the program that, some of these guys, they still have an opportunity to redshirt. Some of these guys that we messed around with and played some last year, and, we can just kind of keep moving along and cross-train them, and see where we get. If we have a need, if they're ready, and, there'll be some decisions like that as we get into, week 3, week 4. All right, are we moving forward with this player or not?
Speaking of older guys with a red shirt, Tucker Holloway, do you hope to get him back later this year?
Yeah, I think so. I think, again, it's as you mentioned and I mentioned, he's a guy that could still redshirt. So he could play, 4 games down the stretch there, and I'm sure he'd help us. We want to make sure he's healthy and in a great place, and if he is, then I think he can help our football team.
You mentioned down in Charlotte about how you have so many boundary safeties. With Braylon working at the field, is that one of those, have him there and just see how he does?
Yeah. Yeah,
to-
and he's coming along there. We still train Mansour there, just as an insurance policy. Stroman does a great job. Jalen Jones does a great job. Both those guys, can play to the field. Quentin Reddish has been cross-training. He can play to the field. Stroman can play in the boundary. So, the combination of those guys knowing both spots, hopefully there's not a need for Mansour there. But he's that guy right now until a couple of them other guys.
You mentioned Moses as a co-starter. Do you see him working his way into the lineup at boundary?
Yeah, he's had a really good camp. Those other guys are playing in there some too, but I'm not sure anybody's playing the boundary better than Mose right now.
We saw Davi out there running the scout team.
Yeah.
I saw him slip through the cracks a couple times, and some of the D linemen, like Fuller, coming over and giving him a pat on the back. How important is it to have a guy when he's trying to replicate what the other team's doing that is shifty like that and can really pose a challenge for the defense?
Yeah, he's, we're going to see an athletic quarterback or two in week 1. And Davi's a guy that can give us a great look. He's a hustler. He's pretty quick. He's got good speed. He competes. So we're fortunate, he'll be giving us a great look over the next 10 days here. And all year long, to be honest.
How many guys do you have that can play nickel?
We've got 2 right now with Dorian and Jay Jones. But I think also Christian Williams is training there. We're giving Thomas Williams a look there. We got to develop a young guy in that group.
Coach, I just had a question about you recruiting this area, especially since our football season in high school is about to start. You got plenty of kids from our 1st and 10, Cole Pickett, PJ, Jay Ricus. Why is that so important for you to get these local kids who have played high school football in this area to Virginia Tech?
Yeah, I think that's been the tradition here. There's always been local boys playing at Tech, and it strengthens their relationship with these surrounding communities. They love coming to watch these guys. They, almost more than anybody, they're certainly going to understand Virginia Tech and what we're all about. And they've grown up coming to games, and they've had relatives play here, and so it's awesome. We're always very well received, in Southwest Virginia.
Is there a local kid that's standing out to you right now?
There is, but I can't mention him.
Come on, you can.
No. They're doing well. They are. I'm glad to have all of them.